I mean, I guess that this game technically qualifies as a viewer-submitted game of StarCraft 2. It's quite a bit higher up there, though, and it's a bit different because of a very good reason. Because it was submitted by the man right here in the bottom right-hand corner of a Romanticide. Playing with the Red Terran SCVs from the Netherlands, we are looking at the Cowboys' main command center, but the Cowboy apparently is a Smurf account. And he's better known under the nickname of Harstem. Now, Harstem, of course, a top-tier Protoss player, but apparently he's been playing his off races as well. I know that most pro gamers like to warm up playing their off races, or whenever they have like a bad day, they like to play a couple of games with the other two races as well. I'm gonna make roaches like last... Yo, hey, Mr. Opponent, you gotta wait for your turn, okay? I'm talking about Mr. Harstem here. So, this game was submitted by Harstem, and he literally said to me, ik denk dat je deze wel grappig vindt. Which would translate to, I didn't just get a stroke, by the way, in case you're wondering. I know oftentimes whenever I talk Dutch on stream, there's a couple of people that get very concerned. It basically means, it translates to, I think you'll enjoy this one. So I have no idea what to expect from this particular game. I just know that we have a very high-level Protoss player playing a matchup, you know, a Terran versus Zerg that he normally would not be playing that often. So we'll see how this particular game goes. Already, though, there's no wall at the top of the ramp. So maybe that trash talk there from the opponent was just a little bit frustrating. I'm not entirely sure. Going for the depot over here and then the barracks over there is not ideal, okay? There's a reason why usually we see it at the top of the ramp. Regardless, apparently eager to get his turn to be introduced. Playing here in the top left-hand corner of Romanticide with the blue Zerg drones. We're looking at IBA? 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 IBA, I don't really know exactly how to pronounce it. I guess we're gonna go with IBA. Regardless, he's apparently in Clan Lambro, which is, of course, Lambo's clan. Anyways, we'll see how this particular game goes. So, as someone who plays in Master 1 or, like, low Grandmaster League, these are the kind of games that can sometimes be a little bit upsetting to me as well. Because already, this is, like, a bit of a shaky start right here from Harstem, but he plays right at the same MMR with his Terran as I do with my main race after putting in so many years of effort. Generally speaking, whenever people ask, like, who's the best random player in the world, there's probably gonna be a guy at, like, rank 100 Grandmaster League right now. But truth be told, the best random player in the world is probably, like, Cyril or Raynor or Clem or, you know, whoever of the top-level guys decide to give a little bit of off-racing a try as well. Just because they don't really play it that much doesn't mean they're not good at it. Already, though, this is Reaper control. I don't want to trash talk too much because, you know, this MMR is basically my MMR. Oh, he gets a drone. Nice. Some interesting Reaper control here so far. Coming out of the Dutch Terran player. Zerg decided to catch him. Now, I have, by the way, played against IBA or IBA or IBA many times myself before as well. Although it's been a little while. I've mostly been playing myself on the North American ladder. Regardless, I'm excited to find out what ends up going down in this particular match. So, very quick third command center right here from the Cowboy. And then into what seems to be a double barracks opener. So, I guess this is like a delayed 2-1-1 with a very, very quick third command center. I think this was the build. Was it TY that played this? A couple weeks ago? I think it was. I quite liked it because basically it's difficult to scout right now for a Zerg player, right? You don't really get that much scouting intel until you either suicide in the Overlord, which usually at earliest we see right about right now. So you won't really, you know, be able to respond to that one anymore. Or unless you get like a Zergling in, but the Reaper should be able to take care of that. So there we go. Normally between 3:30, 3:40, and then the 4-minute mark is when we see these Overlords flying in. Well, this guy is not going to see much, although he already sees that there's a bunch of Marines out. Now, for a standard 16 Marine drop, 5 Marines would be a small amount at this point, but you don't ever really know if this is going to be a, you know, if this is going to be all of the Marines, right? Like, Terrans don't have to send all of their all of their Marines to just kill one of these OVs. I guess one tell right now from IBA would be to see the timing right here of the depots at the front, or the leg thereof. I didn't realize this either until a couple months ago. But generally speaking, these depots should be started up already. So usually what we see, right, in a standard macro game of Zerg versus Terran, we would see like depot, and then a command center to finish off the wall off. If you don't see the depot by the time that your Overlord scout goes in, it seems to pretty much always be either a Terran player not making a wall off, which is basically not going to happen at a high level, or it's going to be a quick third command center. So if you're really on point right now as a Zerg, and you see the Lekka Depot at the front, you should probably assume that it's going to be a third CC opener pretty early on. Now, when I talk about early CCs, though, normally we're talking Barracks, Factory, 3rd CC, then Starport. This is much greedier than that. Anyways, now the Marines get spotted, though, so we'll see what the Zerg player decides to go for. Okay, so there's a +1 carapace here pretty early on. Yeah, I actually don't mind this. I think going for the 2nd Evo Chamber would not be a bad idea either. Normally against a 16 Marine drop, you need about 30 to 32 Zerglings and a bunch of Queens as well, so this should be more than enough. Nice scout over here as well. I mean, theoretically a nice scout. He had a small glimpse right there of those 2 Medivacs moving out, but honestly, with the creep spread being connected, right, and most of the bases easily accessible, these Marines should not be able to achieve too much. Now, I'm sure that Harstem didn't just send me a normal game, by the way, of Terran vs. Zerg. So I'm excited to figure out what ends up going down here, because so far things are, I mean, looking a little bit out of the ordinary. This is such a quick 3rd base. I love it. But I'm sure there's going to be something out of the ordinary here coming up pretty soon. So look at the economy right now, by the way. I think this is one of those Terran builds that we should see quite a lot more often. So look at the eco right now. So for comparison's sake, normally a 16 Marine drop with Stimpack and 2 Medivacs will hit at about 5 minutes and 10 seconds, okay? If you're Maru or you're like one of the top level guys, maybe you can hit it like 5 minutes and 5 seconds, but basically slightly after the 5-minute mark, depending on the size of the map as well. These Marines arrived, I would say probably like 45 seconds later or so. However, there was a 3rd command center on the back of this, so this entire time so far, Harstem has been ahead economically. And this is why Zerg is already starting to fall behind a little bit here. Because normally as a Zerg, you're like, okay, well, I got this defended, I'm ahead now, right? I didn't really take any damage, I'm fine. But you can see right here that the Zerg is, well, economically speaking, just not looking as solid right here as the Terran player. I like it. Already some cheeky builds right here. I'm a fan. Alrighty. Now, obviously, 60 Marine openers always transition back towards more bio, right? When there's smoke, there's fire. Did he go... Okay, I was going to say, did he go combat shield? He did. So that's nice. It's going to go ahead and add on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th barracks here as well. So this is going to be some nice eco right now. Coming out of... or some nice production here coming out of the Terran player. Feels weird to be talking about Harstem as a Terran player, man. I've casted so many Harstem games over the years. Oh, well. Oh, well. So a lot of the top level guys tend to warm up, I think, in the morning, right? Like when they're still trying to process their caffeine or whatever, right? They take their coffee in the morning, and when you want to play a nice, relaxing game, you play one of your off races. It's actually kind of funny. Like once you play enough StarCraft, at some point it really does become relaxing. I know for a lot of people that's absurd. Because this game can be extremely stressful, and obviously that's part of it, but there's a certain flow, right? And I don't know, that's a discussion that we can have at some other time. Let's get the kill right here on the 4th base. Although there's already a new 4th base being acquired, that is rather painful, and this is definitely not looking so hot right now for the Zerg, if I'm being honest with you. Banelings roll in, but they're not going to be able to achieve anything. Good response right there by Harstem. Now, okay, let's actually talk about that. So, what skills carry over to your off races, right? So say, for example, you're a Protoss player, or you're a Zerg player, or you're a Terran player, right? And you play one of the other races instead. What skills carry over? Well, there's a couple things. First off, it's obviously things like response time, right? So that Baneling roll-by over there is something that we see all the time as well in Zerg versus Protoss. And Harstem was on point with defending that, right? I don't actually ever see Banelings rolling into a mineral line in this particular case, because it's just... It's something that Harstem has a lot of experience with, right? So once again, Banelings here are ready to go, but I don't really see them doing a whole lot. So I think multitasking and using your camera hotkeys efficiently and making sure that you are at the right place at the right time and responding quickly. I mean, it's maybe slightly different because obviously your attention is going to be divided up a little bit differently, but that is one of the major skills that carries over. Secondly, things like macro, especially with Terran players playing Protoss or Protoss players playing Terran, they're relatively similar, right? Like the Zerg production cycle is quite a bit different. So, nice little bit of targeting over here. Yeah, Harstem is just trying to see if he can grab this kill right once again. He obviously knows that there's another base, though. I'm assuming at the very least that he knows that there's going to be a base south of the main. This is very ambitious, but most of this was cleaned up. What was I saying? Right, so that's one of the skills that carries over, right? Secondly, obviously, there's things like macro, right? So Terran players tend to be good at Protoss, and Protoss players tend to be good at Terran, because it's, like, relatively similar. It's like the same as in StarCraft 1, you know? Now, what doesn't carry over, right? So a lot of things, obviously, can carry over pretty easily. What doesn't carry over? Well, I've noticed especially... Say, for example, I play Zerg myself most of the time, right? I'm pretty good at Terran versus Zerg. I'm pretty good at Protoss versus Zerg. I feel very lost in Terran versus Protoss and Protoss versus Terran, and then Terran versus Terran and Protoss versus Protoss matchups as well, right? Because those are the matchups that you just don't see that often. It seems to be that the matchups that you see from the other perspective are much easier to play as well. So this should technically not be a matchup where Harstem feels very comfortable because... You know, it doesn't involve a Protoss. There's no Protoss here. Now, I know that Harstem watches a ton of StarCraft as well. Obviously, all of the top-level guys watch a lot of StarCraft, but I wouldn't be surprised if most of them, say, for example... nice unload there, buddy. I think most of the time, right, say, for example... You're a Zerg player, once again. You probably want to be watching all of the games that Serral plays. You probably want to be watching all of the games that Raynor plays, right? At least the Premier Tournament ones. Now, that's some sexy control there. But you wouldn't necessarily watch the other matchups, right? So I don't really know exactly how much, you know, Terran versus Zerg Harstem watches. But I mean, it's not rocket science. It's not, you know, super complex. And obviously, if you talk to a lot of other pros as well, you'll hear them complain about these things. And you just, you know, you hear them talk about it a lot. So I don't think it's going to affect too much. So basically what it comes down to is that if you're good at one race in StarCraft 2, with very minimal effort, at least compared to like... You know, the first time you played your main race, you can definitely get good at the other ones as well. Anyways, here we go. Now, pushing up into Lurkers is always a bit of a gamble, right? I don't think you really want to do it. You can see the multitasking here, though, is still on point, right? There's a bunch of Widow Mines all over the map. I don't know, man. That's gonna hurt. Good splits. Nice splits by Iba. Nicely done. All right. Now, Lurkers always slow down the pacing of the game quite a bit, right? And I think that's one of their strengths. If you're up against a Terran player who's very good at, like, these tempo-based attacks, which is exactly what Harstem is doing here so far. Harstem is just trying to outpace him and outcontrol him, right? And out-multitask him, I suppose. These Lurkers can just be burrowed, and they can prevent a lot of those attacks from moving forward. If you have a couple Lurkers in one location, they can get a lot of work done. Right? Like, they're just... Ooh. It's getting a little bit ambitious. I don't know if I like that move too much from the Zerg, but... At the same time, though, there is this army up in the top right. There's a new planetary fortress that's just fresh off the press, but I've got a feeling that this may very well get picked off here very shortly as soon as the Zerg player is ready to send those units in. Here we go. It's a couple Marauders and a Dream. But I think you just right-click the the planetary at this point. Even though you can see the repair there is pretty quick, it doesn't matter. There's obviously way too much Zerg. Now, do I like that move here from the Zerg player? I would have liked it better if Zerg had more economy right now. I mean, he's up to 5 bases, I suppose, which is nice, but he's got only 80 drones, which, you know, is relative. But if you compare it to the Terran's economy right now, you can see that Terran, I mean, he's getting more income here as the game goes on, right? Because he's got more workers. I mean, he's going way too many workers, though. That may be a little bit of autopiloting. 89 SCVs may be a bit much. Although I know Sol likes to go. I believe it was Sol that liked to go for like 100 SCVs or so. Don't know if that was ever a mistake, but certainly seems to work out just fine. All right. The Marines and Marauders are running. I'm impressed so far, though, man. Like, this looks like a very high-level game of TVZ so far, right? Harstem is actually... yeah, pretty badly outplaying his opponent up to this point. Looking very strong so far in his Terran gameplay. Alright, now, Lurkers don't really mess around, right? You can repair here for a long time, but repairing is not free. So Zerg will gladly take these kind of trades. Siege tank is gonna... Oh, what? No! Finish it! What? Bro! Oh, why'd you not... Oh, okay. I feel like literally all you had to do was like uproot and then like move slightly forward and then just root again and everything would die. Including the SCVs and the siege tank and the planetary, but maybe in the heat of battle, because he was also defending at home here in the top section of the map. That may have been a bit of a slip-up, though. I'm pretty sure he could have easily had that base. Anyways. Here's the Vipers coming up as well. So Hydro Lurker, Viper, Ling Bane. Very good strategy, obviously. Very good, but very difficult to play. You don't, for example, want to run your Banelings into siege tanks, and he does not. Nice moves here so far by the Zerg player as well. Is he? Okay, yeah, he is finally double upgrading. I wasn't really paying attention there, but his upgrades seem kind of slow. Once again, Marines in the top left-hand corner. Lurkers were all rooted up into another direction, right? So they're running around. Not usually the way that you want to be playing Lurkers, exactly. You want to be sending them off in little small groups as well. If you just leave a couple of them behind, it's very difficult for the Terrans player to get work done. Banelings rolling into siege tanks and Marauders, not quite ideal. And if you start looking right now at the resources lost, yeah. This is where that micro comes in there, right? And this is where the Terran efficiency can really be seen. It's very difficult to efficiently roll all of those units forward and to make sure that everything connects properly. Alrighty. Shall we play StarCraft Trivia? I'll pause the game for just a second. You can pause the video, just let me know down below in the comment section, okay, what upgrade this is. What's the name of this upgrade? Bonus point if you know what it does. Yeah? Okay, you done? Are we? Okay, we can continue onwards. Great. We don't play a lot of StarCraft Trivia anymore, man. Terran has a whole bunch of upgrades that nobody really knows. This is one of them, though. Here's another one that we don't see too often, actually. This is a combination of two. I believe I explained at some point that the building armor upgrade in StarCraft 2 increased the building armor. Apparently, I literally said that in a video. Okay, this is the building armor upgrade. It increases the armor of the building. It's like, wow, Loko, thank you so much. You're welcome, guys. Happy to help. Ooh, okay. So, I was wondering, when are we going to be seeing a bit of a switch up, right? Because there's no way he's just going to be submitting a normal game to me, right? So far, this has looked pretty normal. But here's a bit of a change. 3 additional Ghost Academies are being added onto the one that was already there. So we're going to be talking 4 Ghost Academies here very shortly. Now, you never go multiple Ghost Academies unless you plan on going for multiple tactical nukes. Nukes have kind of fallen out of favor at the pro level, but they're an absolute disaster to play against at right around this MMR. It's difficult, especially when multiples are deployed. Nice parasitic bomb, though. Yeah. I guess we call that a decent enough split. Only 2 medevacs will die. Actually, only 1. Siege tank gets abducted. Nice move there. Ooh. Couple of Zerglings, apparently. We'll be able to finish off a few of the tanks with the help of this tank on the high ground. What do you go for as a Zerg right now, as a follow-up? I'm not entirely sure. It seems to be that most Zerg players right now go for more of the same. So, Hydroling Bane into Ultra... Oh, God. Not into Ultras. Into Lurkers and then into Vipers eventually. Ooh, okay. So I was gonna say, what do you do here? Apparently it's a double Nydus network. I know Raynor has been playing double Nydus, which is kind of cool. It's like, what's better than 1 Nydus? 2 Nydus. Nyduses. Nydai. Nydus. I'm not entirely sure. Anyways, guys. Oof. Which, look at that. 4 tactical nukes are being researched all at once. Now, I think what you do, and this might not be the best move at the pro level, but I think at this MMR what you do is you deploy all of the nukes at once in like 4 different locations. I think that's the way to do it. Alright. So, yeah, I think that's what you do. Enhanced Shockwaves is coming up as well for the EMP ability. Where are the ghosts? Okay, here's 1 ghost. Yeah. Okay, there's 1 ghost. Here's another ghost. Dude, you gotta send them all out, though. I think you go for a whole bunch of them. So, like, Zerg is busy over here. There's tactical nuke number 1. Tactical nuke number 2. Tactical nuke number 3. Alright, so nuke over here, nuke over there. I think this one was first. This one has been found by the Zerg player, so it's not gonna get too much done. This one up here. Okay, that one will get some damage done. This one over here in the center, not gonna get as much. But I think that's what you do, man. You just hit him at like 4 different angles at once. Good defense, by the way, so far here by the Zerg. Can't complain about that. He does still have that double Nydus network. Yeah, okay, I was gonna say, I would love to see those moving in. So double Nydus network going up inside of the main base, and there's the Lurkers inside of them. Speaking of Lurkers, apparently the two dents are being picked off right now, but, I mean, the Lurkers are already alive and running, right? So they don't really care too much. Here we go. Nydus network spawn inside of the main base, and Lurkers start moving out. Mass Nydus versus Mass Nuke? Is that what we have here? How do you clean this up right now if you're a Terran player? Spoiler alert, you don't. Really? Like, you can go stimming up that ramp, but good luck. You can nuke your own base. That is one thing you can do, I guess. Tactical nuke once again, heading on over towards the other side of the map. He's nuking his own main! Oh no! That's so funny. Oh no, dude. I guess that's one way you can clean this up. Sure. That is so stupid. I love it. This nuke over here, by the way, didn't get a whole lot of damage done, it looks like. Could have at least tried to lift the orbitals to get out of there, I guess, but maybe then you spoil the location where it was going to be at. Aiba actually so far very on point, by the way. Here's another nuke going up inside of the main base. This one has a short distance to travel. Ghost over here. Yeah, once again, the red spot, or the red dot gets spotted. Nicely done. Mr. Cowboy here decided to cancel the nuke at the last second. And by forcing those Lurkers to back off, maybe he can go in. Yeah, he's trying to, like, make sure that these siege tanks are going to be in range, that the splash damage of the Lurkers is negated. This is still a lot of damage that's being done, though, by the Zerg player right now, right? I mean, very annoying situation to have to deal with. In the meantime, though, can we go counting real quick? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bases right now for the Terran player. If we were to draw a diagonal line through the center of the map, Terran's got every base taken. Plus a bunch of additional spare command centers that are just scattered around. Double Nydus network once again comes up, but I don't know, like what I'm trying to say is I don't know if the Zerg is dealing enough damage with this. Because there's like 2 bases still missing right here, right? I mean, this one's being acquired right now, but Zerg never really had the economy that Terran players had. So in a way, it's the Terran player Zerging the swarm, if that makes any sense at all, you know? Brute Lord follow-up right now. Double Lurker Den once again being acquired. I don't know why we're going double Lurker Den. Apparently Aiba likes to make 2 of each. He started with 1 Evo though, but now we're going... Why double Lurker Den? Both of the upgrades are long done. This is so they can get sniped once again. I guess he's looking at his money. He's like, yeah, I've got enough. No worries. And he does have a nice bank. Just compared to the Terran's bank though. We're talking 9,000 minerals right now for the Terran player. Couple SCVs, apparently too many. Mr. Cowboy realized, wait a second, I've been sitting at like 90 workers here for a long time. The drones decided to run. Not entirely sure if that was necessary, but Brenda and the ladies will be able to clean most of this up. Oh, siege tanks getting into a very ambitious location, very deep onto the creep once again. I think this will be cleaned up just fine. We have Nydus networks going up, this time around over at the 3rd base. SCVs in the center of the map get cleaned up. Siege tanks over here will be cleaned up as well, I think, yeah. Nydus network is done. Zerglings are the things that are popping out this time around. If you're defending your bases with, say, for example, siege tanks, right? I mean, Lynx are going to be able to make short work of those just fine. Without Medivacs, these Terran units are going to have a pretty hard time defending this as well. Once again, we have SCVs fighting in the center of the map. There's the Lurkers moving forward over here together with the Brute Lords against the tanks. Alright. Aiba says thank you. Okay, I'm sorry. As he kills all of those tanks. Sorry, that was terrible. How are these SCVs the ones killing the freaking center base? No. This is a fully upgraded queen, okay? Well, I would like to look at the queen more, but there's now Brute Lords and Lurkers in the center of the map, and all of that will be killed. Brenda, luckily for her, got a transfusion done, and with Zerglings joining the fray right now too, I think that will indeed be cleaned up. Once again, another Nydus worm goes up inside of the main base. I think it's almost time to get rid of the main, man. Just get out of here. I don't think you need to really mind the main anymore. Just lift up the structures and go elsewhere. Well, I guess he needs to make sure he doesn't lose literally everything, though. There's not really much of a counter at this point to Brute Lords. We see a couple of starports here ready to start producing, I guess, Vikings. That would not be bad. Nice abductions there by the Zerg player. Blinding Cloud over there also forces a lot of those Marines and Marauders to, yeah, just derp around for a bit. Nydus in the main base was done, and obviously with that, the Zerglings are streaming out once again. This is a lot of damage that Iva is able to do right now. At the same time, there's a nuke coming up. Where is it? Oh, okay, it just flew out of the screen. But this nuke may very well not be spotted since Zerg is so busy looking at all of the other locations. Is he gonna notice? And this could be the big comeback, actually. Yep. Even though the Zerg has done a lot of damage, just like that, Harstem manages to turn that aggression around. At the same time, he's got the Marines and the Marauders heading in the center of the center of the map. They finished the job that the SCVs couldn't. SCV is the only melee units of the Terran. Planetary over there falls though. Looks like the main base actually has been cleaned up, although there's still a couple of Nydus networks. SCV. What is it with these SCVs, man? You only have 53 right now. I think this might become a little bit too much. I don't think you want to go lower than 53, dude. Well, maybe they really are used as an attacking unit. This Ghost over here has got now 27 kills next to its name. A couple Zerglings sprinkle out, but not really in the location where you want them to. Okay, there we go. They're going to force the lift off on that command center as well. And the SCVs will be able to kill a hatch. No! Let him finish the job! Oh, what? 9 HP. I love that Harstem scans, by the way. That scan achieves nothing. That scan is just there to salivate over your own kills, okay? He just wanted to go and giggle. I can imagine Harstem playing this game on his live stream, right? Must kind of suck. Well, apparently... Did the Brute Lords all get killed? I actually missed that. Yeah, the Brute Lords got killed. There were only 6 of them. I think they were killed by the Vikings there. Natural expansion is being retaken, even though there's only about well, I'm not even going to try, but there's only a couple hundred minerals remaining over there inside of the natural. Terran still has a ton of minerals in the bank, but very little gas. And obviously you can make Marines with minerals, right? Which is always neat, but he's starting to run a little bit low on money here. Would love to see Zerg, though. Like, Zerg is starting to fall behind here in the macro. Well, actually, he's been behind in the macro the whole time. I love what Iba is doing here as far as, like, the micro goes and the decision-making and the strategic, you know, maneuvering around the map. It's really neat, but he's just never really had the macro to back it up. Okay. Well, that base. That, I mean, if that's your lifeline, a 40 HP hatchery. I'm not sure, man. Lurkers, once again, though, pop out. There's a depot that will be built right next to a Nydus network. These Lurkers are going to prevent, once again, the Terran units from moving up this ramp. I mean, they can move into the Lurkers, I guess, but that might not be the best move either. At the same time, base over here gets canceled. I don't know how this hatchery still lives. Like, I am really uncertain. He even scanned for it earlier, right? Lurkers are trying to get into the main base right now, while some of them apparently walked and others just simply went through the Nydus network instead because they're lazy. A couple of the ghosts, though, cloaked here and ready to go. They're going to be able to, well, as long as the scan is available, they're going to be able to continue fighting this. Oh. Oh my god. We will be able to actually kill the overs here. Nicely done. At the same time, the base at the 12 o'clock position got picked off too. Advanced ballistics as a follow-up here. I like it. Zerg at this point is starting to get to the point where they are basically broke, right? So if you can get Liberators out, I mean, especially with the ranged upgrade, they're going to be able to kill basically everything, right? I mean, if you have to kill Liberators with Hydras, it's never really a situation you want to be in. Alright. Resources lost-wise, actually, things have certainly closed quite a bit. Yeah, so Harstem is just out-macroing his opponent. Which is kind of funny because it's his off-race, but that's really like the takeaway from this game. Once again, another nuke inside of his own main base. I don't know why this guy was even sent to orbit, only to go back down into the main. Doesn't matter, there's nothing really to kill over here anyway. But yeah, he's heavily out-macroing his opponent. He's got more minerals, so he decided to dump it on a bunch more orbital commands. I guess actually, you know what? I said earlier that 50 drones or 50 SCVs seemed like the minimum he wanted to go for. How many orbitals are we at? Oh, we only are at 3 orbitals right now. Okay, I was gonna say, like, maybe you can just mine with mules instead, right? Seemed like he had quite a few earlier. Ooh, gotta be so careful. Okay. Well, here's the Liberators inside of the main, and there's no counter for that, right? So Terran Right now, still has some income. Zerk also is getting 400 minerals a minute. It's just that this is where the money is coming from. Right? Like, there's... Okay, that's literally it. There is... no unit other than the queens that shoot up. So, yeah, I would say Liberators are pretty good, man. There's 5 of them being produced right now, all at once. I think these starports were put down earlier just to deal with the Brute Lords, right? So he tried to make some Vikings, and I think, well, he did. Don't know how many he made in total. 8. Only 8. That's fine. And right now, Liberation has arrived. I mean, they're not very good at anti-air. Their air-to-air attack is kind of sloppy, but I mean, it'll do just fine against the Vipers, right? All right, the money though has been going down. God, what a sick game. That was really fun. Yeah, I mean, this has to be game over, right? Iba has absolutely nothing going for him anymore. Yeah, he says it as well. It's Liberation Day. GG is cold. And just like that, Mr. Cowboy, also known as Harstem, obtains the victory. I'm actually very impressed with the way that Iba was playing this, though. I really think with slightly better macro, he would have won this. It's kind of ironic, though, that the Zerg player had less workers than Terran there. So in a way, it really was the Terran that was swarming the Zerg, which... Anyway, I guess it's kind of ironic. Now, I hope that you enjoyed watching today's video. If you did, hit that like button down below if you want to see more. You know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. If you didn't like it, by the way, feel free to hit the dislike button, guilt-free. Now, if you enjoy watching other games than StarCraft 2 as well, consider checking out my second YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/morelowko. There's a link down below in the description, as well as a button that appears on the screen at the end of these videos that will take you to my second channel. But it's basically a channel where I post completed playthroughs of games that I've streamed on Twitch. So, yeah, maybe you're interested. But anyways, for now, I want to thank you for watching. Have an awesome day. Don't forget to smile, and I'll see you once again in the next one.